morning. Welcome to Blue Heron Hill. I'm Sue. This is my favorite time of the day to be out in the garden. Last night we had a huge soaking rain, and so I don't have to worry about watering today. And everything seems to have just shot up at least another inch or two overnight. I've had a lot going on this week. As most of you gardeners probably have noticed, that your plants are just growing and striving to put forth fruit. I've had harvests this week of strawberries and sweet peas, sugar snap peas, and lots of lettuce coming on. Spinach is just getting over. I just picked a whole bunch of that. There's another video coming up on my favorite dressing to put on a spinach salad. So look for that coming out soon. So in addition to things growing in the garden, I also had going on this week big infrastructure plans in my garden that have come almost to complete fruition. And I want to show you that. Come with me. The easiest way is to show you. I have a drip irrigation system now. It's not throughout the entire garden, but it's in the main part of the garden. I have my tomatoes and peppers here. This here is the main line, and these are drip tape irrigation channels that run the length of the garden. This one I have 3 in it to water my peppers, and a few flowers stuck in there, and then also the cucumbers, which will be growing on that trellis. Also over here, I have a line of tomatoes and then 2 lines to service the peppers. This trellis of tomatoes also has a line, although you can't see it because it's buried in mulch. I'm going to talk about the mulch a little bit later on. Now, my onions are in sorely need of some drip irrigation lines. I thought I had checked and double checked before I put in my order, but I didn't have the right connectors to the main line for the onions. That should be coming any day now, and then I won't have to do any more hand watering of the onions. Onions, outside of needing a good amount of fertilizer, especially in the NPK region, the middle number is most important for your onions. But I'll be getting that established, and with water, they will be all set to go. I did side dress them with some fertilizer just this week too. Now the tomatoes along that side still don't have their drip irrigation in yet, but that's coming soon with the next order. But I'm very excited to have this in. And I'm sure it's going to make my day, my every watering day, a lot less stressful. Since I put this drip irrigation system in, I've been thinking a lot about how often and when I should do my watering. Now, normally when I do my watering by hand with the hose and nozzle, I usually give it the finger test, down up to about the second knuckle, and see if things are still moist and below the surface. This time it's sort of all automatic. I'm fortunate now that I got a completely soaking rain. The soil is moist, and so all I have to do is feed it with more water at a regular interval. Now, how much should you water it? Should you water it daily for a short period of time, or should you water it you know, 2 to 3 or 4 times a week and not every day, and do it for a longer amount of time. Been thinking about this. When you water it daily for a short period of time, the water doesn't get a chance to sink way down deep. Let's take tomatoes for instance. You planted your tomatoes very deep because you had long stems. Promotes more root growth on your tomato stem, thus enriching the plant even more. You want water to go down that deep to the roots. If you surface water, you're telling the roots to grow towards the surface, grow to where the water is. So with that in mind, I'm going to take the approach of watering less frequently, maybe 3 times a week, 2 times a week, depending upon if we have rain from up above, and watering for a longer period of time so the water has time to go very deep into the ground, so those roots will dive down deep or stay where they are way down deep. Now you do have some plants like lettuces that are surface rooters, and their roots do not go down deep. So you have to be mindful of some of those plants whose roots do not go deep. Carrots, for instance, turnips, beets, rutabagas, anything that's a root vegetable, you are going to need to water deeply because you want those roots to get all of the water that they can from down deep rather than from the surface. So just a couple thoughts to keep in mind if you ever like me, who have gone to a drip irrigation system, or even if you are watering by hand. So just a few thoughts on that system. This is the Annex Garden, which is just on the other side of the driveway from the main garden, and it is going gangbusters. The pole beans, which are going to climb up on my arbor here, are doing great. Some have even started to latch on. These are bush beans, sweet potatoes, a couple little extra tomatoes I found a space in for. Lettuce is been being harvested daily. Some are even starting to bolt, which then means it's chicken food. Carrots are doing fine. Oh, one last thing, let me come back here. We had that real frosty weather on Memorial Day weekend, and I thought I was going to lose some of these sweet potatoes, but they are coming back. These two in the foreground here were particularly lost all their leaves, but they have been coming back strong. So got to keep those watered. This garden is not going to be drip irrigated, at least this year, perhaps next year. So I've harvested some broccoli, even from my broccoli plants that are under these insect nettings. And kohlrabi, I'll show you a picture of the kohlrabi. And those are growing just fine. Now another, if we can see in the distance, here is the pumpkin patch in the feed bags. And those are almost ready to overflow their containers and start trailing on down the grass. I'm so excited. I hope this works. Now this is the next big addition to Blue Heron Hill. I got my own greenhouse. Yippee! Oh, it's a little late to actually use it for seed starting, although I have thrown a few pots and flats in here to seed start. It does get insanely hot in here, but I am very, very excited to have this. I've got a few here those have been growing nicely. I've decided to put a couple sunflowers and zinnias and marigolds on this side. The cages are to actually keep the chickens out, and or the chipmunks that love to bite the tops off of newly sprouted flowers. I've started to mulch on the areas that are weed-free and now serviced by the drip irrigation. This will help to cut down on the weeds, also help on water retention in these beds. This is Coop Clean Out right here. Now this isn't fresh. You can see there's dirt in here. It's been breaking down. This is the Coop Clean Out that has been out in the chicken run for over 2 months, I would say. The straw itself has broken down into smaller pieces. It's mixed with the dirt on the ground. The poop part has been decomposing over days, many days of rain and hot sun. So it's not hot anymore. Chicken poop is a hot fertilizer. You don't want to spread that immediately on your ground. And this is a better solution for mulch than using it straight from the coop. From the coop, it goes into the chicken run, and there it sits for a couple months until it looks like this. And there's a lot of dirt in here because there's dirt in the run. The poop has all washed into the ground and off the straw, and still has been broken down. The sun has been doing its work. And this is what I put as mulch around my plants in my garden. Another thing I've been busy doing is wood chipping my pathways. I just have a few left to do. I'm running low on wood chips, so I'm going to have to find a different source. I've only have this skinny little pathway here yet to do. But this is it's going to be a lifesaver, a time saver in garden maintenance. Thanks for visiting with me again up here on Blue Heron Hill. You can hear the construction vehicles going. There's more infrastructure going on. You're just going to have to wait and see what that is all about. So if you enjoyed this content, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't, and share on all your social media posts. So until the next video, when we go digging in the dirt, bye.